We're ready to go. Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for being here with us today. We're very excited to start our collaboration with Omdena. For the ones who are not familiar with the company, Omdena is a collaborative platform for building innovative, ethical, and effective artificial intelligence solutions for real world problems. And we're really excited to have Lucy that will give us an overview of the company and some tips on how to succeed in their projects. And we're also very thrilled to have Maria Guerra, who is an alumna from All Women, and Rasha Salim, who will share their personal experience in different projects that they were involved. So thank you very much to all of you for being here. And as said, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Marta, for giving that introduction. We're very happy to be here too and partnering with All Women. As you said, Rasha and Maria, or Maria actually is an alumni and recently worked on our project. So it's going to be great to hear from her. And Rasha is actually a very recent new community member as well. She just completed her first project and is working on her second one. So I think it's going to be interesting for you to hear from them on the experience. But as for me, I'll just give you a quick overview of Omdena, kind of the history and how to get involved. So I'm just going to share my screen. I want to make sure that you all see it.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So my name is Lucy. I'm the head of community here at Omdena, and what that means is one of the things that I'm responsible for is the growth of the community, which is why I'm here and why we're so excited to be partnering with All Women so that we can grow through that aspect as well. All right, so I'll start with a brief history of Omdena. So how the main motivation of Omdena came about. So 1.5 years ago, Rudra Mitra, who's the founder of Omdena, he's been in the AI industry for a very long time, and his main motivation for founding the company was one, to build AI for social good and for people at the bottom of the pyramid, and two, is to give AI enthusiasts from all over the world a place where they are able to work on real world problems, no matter where they live and what type of work experience that they have or what they currently are working on. And to do so in a collaborative way and to demonstrate that collaboration is stronger than competition in that sense, in order to build ethical, efficient, and also adoptable AI solutions in the real world. So putting that kind of idea and motivation from theory into practice, he initiated a project focused on the Indian market. So the idea was to identify solar capacity for rooftops in India specifically. And what you can see here, using AI and machine learning, of course, what you see here on the left are the rooftops in India. So they're very small, hard to identify with the human eye, especially for machines as well. As opposed to what we have in Europe, right? We have large surface areas on our roofs, so it's easier to identify through satellite imagery the solar capacity. So that was the idea, and this was a very hard problem to solve, hadn't really been done before to their knowledge. So first step, of course, with every data science project was how to gather or build a data set to be able to build these models. So in this case, a group of 60 to 70 students, data scientists, machine learning engineers, domain experts were gotten together to start tagging data. And they were very close, since this was a very Indian-focused problem for the Indian market. The 60 to 70 people were made up of people from India, but from different regions of India. And since they are all aware of their neighborhoods, their rooftops, their friends' rooftops, they could all identify and tag these satellite images very accurately because they were very close to the problem at hand. So within a short amount of time, there was a large amount of data to work with, and the results were quite impressive. So they built a model within 4 months with 85% accuracy. It was the first solution like this to the market. So if you want to compare it to something, Google Sunroof is able to identify rooftops with only high resolution images, not low resolution images. So who was involved, right? Like that's what it comes down to. And what it comes down to is that there were around 60 enthusiasts from diverse backgrounds. These guys didn't have PhDs in data science. They didn't have 100 years of experience in the industry. They just had diverse backgrounds, had different ways of thinking about things, and they came together to collaborate on this problem and solve it. So that's kind of a little bit about the history and the idea, putting it into practice. Where are we now? So 1.5 years later, we're now at a community of 1,500 plus machine learning and AI engineers. So the 1,500 plus people have worked on our challenges with us from various backgrounds. 86 countries are represented as of now. We just kicked off a project with UNDP yesterday, where we got our 2 newest countries from New Zealand and Belarus. So very excited. And we're at 34 projects, so either completed or still running right now. And if you're asking kind of where does the real world aspect comes with, so the way that we run the challenges are in partnership with organizations. A lot of them are NGOs. As you can see on here, there's some startups. We actually have a good representation. So Russia and Maria worked on 2 different types of areas, right? So we partner with public, private, large, small corporations. Russia worked on a small startup one. This one, Zap, and Maria on an NGO, Save the Children. So we have a pretty wide variety of projects that or partners that we partner with to solve these problems. So how do we make that work, right? So if you think about 50 to 60 people getting together to work on that, it seems like a lot, but what we've kind of demonstrated and what we believe in is that through autonomous teams that are cross-functional and multidisciplinary, we can achieve high diversity and bias mitigation in the solutions that we build, which also results in a lot of experimentation and rapid iteration. So getting us to a solution that's kind of better and more easier, or better and optimized, if you want to call it that, right? If we can experiment and iterate more quicker than if we have a small amount of people working on something together. And what is the representation of Omdena? So we're happy to say that 35% of our lead engineers are actually women across various different continents and countries. So we have a breakdown within Europe, North America, Australia, Africa, South America, and Asia. And when it comes to levels of experience, we have representation anywhere between 18 and 65 years old. And as I said earlier, years of experience really ranges from 1, sometimes even less than 1 to 7 more years. And that's kind of what we stuck to, right? Since that very, very first project, diversity and inclusion all around. So how does Omdena work? Just to give it to you a little bit in an overview. First step is this is just a snapshot of our website right now. So the current projects that we have coming up. But first step is an organization submits a problem, a use case, or an idea. We work with them to formulate a problem statement. So what is it they're trying to solve? And then we put it on our website. And that's where AI talent is then able to apply to join the project. So kind of the logistical elements are that Omdena selects around 50 to 60 collaborators. We kick off and have our projects running for 2 months. And then in total, to make sure that within those 2-month period, we actually deliver a solution. Of course, the team is self-organized and bottom-up. However, they leverage our processes, our collaborative processes, to refine the problem statement, collect the data, and then ultimately build the solution. So self-organization is key within the team, but of course, through the processes that we've kind of, that we're instilling and that we've built out, our collaborators are able to self-organize through that collaborative environment and deliver solution that's not entirely chaotic. So internally, how does that work? Or once you initiate a project, as I mentioned earlier, we're a bottom-up, and also how Marta mentioned, we're a bottom-up collaborative platform. So what that doesn't look like is what you can see on the left here. So there's no hierarchy, there's no pyramid. You know, initially you're given a recommendation for the role that you'll be starting out as. But once you're in the project, you can take on whatever task you want. You can talk to whoever you want. You know, what we look like is more on the right, which is a network of teams. So different subtasks or subgroups form within our projects to work together interconnectedly to build the solution. And what does that look like? For us, that looks like, you know, the collaborative aspect leads to faster AI model generation, because if you think about it, if you have multiple teams working on things at the same time, little sub-communities are built. And, you know, from a machine learning data science perspective, what that means is that multiple models can be built and iterated on at the same time. And then instead of, you know, just figuring out which one is the best one and that one wins, it's figuring out how many you can build and choosing the most accurate one based on the amount of people and time that you have put into it. Just to give a short overview of three kind of case studies in terms of the projects that we've worked on. So as I mentioned, 35 projects across a wide array of domains. So computer vision, NLP, planning, AI and route planning. These are just specific areas and domains that we've had our projects in. But there is a wider range that is not on this slide, and you'll also see in the next presentations coming up the variety that's there. But one is, for example, we worked with Impact Hub in Turkey to identify, you know, they have a lot of earthquakes in Turkey, and I think there was a recent one actually now. But this project was around identifying the safest routes for families to get back to their children, or vice versa in case of an earthquake. The second one here was where we worked with a Brazilian startup to identify forest fires. And then the last one here, so that's the satellite imagery. And then the last one here is around NLP, so sentiment analysis, where we worked with an NGO in the US to identify from tweets, Twitter sentiment analysis, you know, what the likelihood of gang violence was based on those tweets. So if there was a correlation or not, and there did turn out to be a correlation. So there's a very wide range of topics, kind of playing to different people's interests and strengths. But of course, you can find more about those on our blog or on our website. And yes, so that's pretty much about Omdena, how you can get involved, what we're made up of. But I think, you know, Russia and Maria will have a really good viewpoint of giving tips on new people getting involved, especially from a community like yours. So thanks for that.
Thank you very much, Lucy, for the first overview. Could you tell us a little bit about the next projects that you have opened? Because thanks to our collaboration, we're offering 8 spots for our community. So we saved 5 for alumna and 3 to give to the community that are following us. If you can tell us a little bit about the projects that you have in the future, and a little bit about the process, so how it works.
Of course. Yes. So the 2 upcoming projects that we have for the month of November, which we're happy to reserve these spots for your community, are one on preventing road crashes and saving lives. So here, this one on the left is coming up on November 17th. And this one is in collaboration with the International Road Assessment and Programs. So with this one, as you can read here from the website, the charity's vision is for a world free of high-risk roads. So in this project, you'll work on building a solution or an AI-based solution to map the crash risk on roads in order to identify, where the biggest risks are to mitigate those risks. So you'll be able to read about more details on the website, but in terms of applying for it, we'll share the link after this, but all you want to do is apply through the website. So you can fill out an application, you apply, you give the reason, your experience, a little bit about your experience and why you want to work on the project. And then we're going to be able to select you from there. So that's the first one. The second one is November 27th, and this is in collaboration with Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data. And this one is around using machine learning to help farmers cope with increasingly erratic weather, model the fastest route to markets and mobilities across livelihood zones, and to understand how to detect problems in fields with drones and other tools. So basically, this one is more satellite imagery focused, computer vision focused, and focused in Senegal. Sorry, the previous one was focused in the US. This one is in Senegal, to identify, and this one is more related to climate change and identify agriculture loss, which is coming from the result of floods and droughts. So those are the two ones that are coming up. Same application process. So you apply via the website. You want to give your where'd you hear about us? You want to put in here either through All Women, so that we're aware of that, and we can select you from there. And then we have a third one coming up that's actually not public yet, but as soon as we have publicized it, we will reach back out to Marta and the community, and then that will be made available to you as well.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Lucy. All right. So now we're going to leave the stage to our ladies so they can share their knowledge and expertise on how to nail one of these projects. So I don't know if you have any preference in terms of who wants to present first. No? All right. We can start with Maria, if that's okay. Wonderful.
Let me set this up.
Great. And just as a reminder, we're going to leave 10 minutes at the end to answer any of your questions. And if your microphone is not working well, you can always write it on the side chat. Thanks.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk to you guys about my experience with Omdena and just a little bit about myself to start. So I actually work in data management and analysis for an NGO in the field of sexual and reproductive health and rights. And earlier this year, I decided that I wanted to skill up and sort of get involved in this data science and machine learning that everyone was talking about. So I signed up to the All Women Bootcamp, and I did the part-time session that finished up in July of this year. And then I took a month off to rest up a bit. And then in September, I was really looking for a way to sort of work on data science projects to really build up my skills and my portfolio. So I joined the Omdena project with Save the Children. And that lasted for 2 months and has just finished up. So a little bit about the project with Save the Children. So the goal of this project was to really see how we could harness the power of machine learning and artificial intelligence to protect children online. And this includes protection from really terrible threats like sexual violence, and also cyberbullying, cyber harassment from peers or predators. And the project ended up being super vast. I'm by no means an expert in actually everything that was achieved during the project because it was just so huge. It really brought together a lot of different data sources. And following the sort of Omdena self-organizing methodology, 9 different task groups sort of, sprang up. Ultimately, there were data sets produced, analysis and research on these data sets, and also prototype applications, all on the theme of protecting kids from online violence. There was also consultation with external experts from other organizations to see what they were already doing in this space and where we could add value. So just a little bit about the different things that were achieved in this project. And again, I'm not an expert at all of them, but there was a group looking at newspapers and magazines from around the world and scraping information on online violence against children to see sort of what the global outlook was. Then there was the group, which I'll talk about in a minute, which was about analyzing research papers. So I'll talk about that one in a minute because that's the one that I was involved with. There were also people looking at gaming forums because this is where a lot of violence against children online actually takes place these days. So, some of the members of this group actually built a classifier which would use video game reviews to predict the riskiness or threat level of a video game. Another group worked with a really huge data set of conversations between online predators and people sort of pretending to be children to capture these online predators. So there was a massive task to tag this data set, which took, as you can imagine, a lot of hours, a lot of collaboration from many different people. But once they had tagged that, they were able to do all sorts of analysis on the content of these conversations and also build different applications to be able to predict if a conversation is becoming risky for children. Another group worked on an educational chatbot that children can talk to, and it can provide them with different information and resources to stay safe online. So yeah, just a really broad project. And so I actually initiated a task in this project. So this was the analysis of research papers and articles, because I saw at the beginning there was sort of a gap. No one was working on this yet. So we built a very large data set, scraping 5 different online research repositories that had articles and reports on the topic of online violence against children. And this is just one bullet point here, but it took like 80% of the time to build the data set, as is usual in data science. And so we actually just had the titles and the abstracts of the research papers. So from that, we were able to do sort of NLP analysis of the research space, look at the geographical trends, the topics and the keywords that were coming up in the research space over time, the publication trends. And that was as far as I went in the project. Other collaborators also went further. So they built a classifier to pick out sentences from the research articles about risk factors for either becoming a victim or a predator of online violence. There was an interactive map of legislation. There was also one collaborator worked on a neural search engine that you could ask natural language questions to, and it would respond with answers taken from the research data set that we built. And yes, so now switching tack a little bit, I'm going to talk about some of the things that were more challenging in the project for me. The first one was just the time commitment. So, and this is it's not bad, it's just the reality that it does take up a lot of time. I was working full time, so the biggest challenge was just sort of finding the motivation to go in and sit down at my computer again after work hours, maybe after dinner, and just putting the time in. So even though it was very enjoyable time, it still does take up a lot of time. There were also a lot of meetings, especially at the beginning. It seemed like all the tasks wanted to have maybe more than one meeting a week. And with the task that I had started for the research papers, I actually went, I think, 2 weeks without having a meeting because I don't really enjoy them. But this got less as the project went on as well. And the self-organizing methodology that Lucy was talking about, this can be a little bit chaotic at first, and it was definitely a little bit of a challenge to get used to. But on the other hand, I've also listed it as one of the rewarding aspects, because the fact that there are no set roles means that you can take on any role that you want in the project. And this is just really cool. I mean, I don't know of any other organization that lets you do that, just to be whatever you want. You can work on whatever you want. You can create a new task like I did and be the task manager. So it's just really, really cool in that sense. For me, it was also great to learn to master new technologies. I learned to use Selenium for web scraping. I got a lot of practice using GitHub that I had never really got to practice before. I got to practice new libraries for data visualization. So it was really great. And then probably the best thing is just the collaborators from all across the globe that you get to work with. And everyone was just really fun. And now that the project is finalized, you get added to the Omdena community on Slack. So you have the community there just sharing resources, and it's a very supportive space. And of course, also the main goal of why I started the project was to build up my data science portfolio. So I really think that I managed to accomplish that. I wanted to talk a little bit about some tips for people. Just really take your time at the beginning to understand the problem. You don't need to rush in and start coding from week one. You can really just take the first weeks to really research what you're going to do. You're usually not going to be a domain expert, so just get used to that a little bit. Also, everyone everyone has something to learn. There's also everybody is going to be able to teach other people stuff as well. I think it's also really useful to frame it in terms of this improv mentality of yes and to other people's suggestions. Don't think that you have all the answers. Just really try and go with the flow of what other people are putting forward. And just the more you put into it, the more that you're going to get out. So just go for it, and you can find me on Slack or email if you have any questions.
Wonderful, Maria. Thank you very much for your inspiring words. Amazing. Great. So now we're gonna leave some room for Rasha to share her testimonial. Thank you for being both of you here.
Thank you. That was an awesome presentation, Maria. Thank you. Okay, I'm sharing my screen, and you can confirm if you all see. Okay.
All good.
Awesome. Just a second. I'm just checking. Okay. So hello, I am Rasha. I'm a computer engineer. So I have graduated in 2012 as a computer engineer, and I've kind of hit a wall. After that, I'm an introvert, a proud one, and I had really low self-esteem, and later discovered that I kind of have a closed mindset on certain aspects. So I thought that I can just work on all by myself, and I thought I don't need anyone. I just have my laptop, and I'm gonna code, and just just have a career from there. And that was until about 4 years ago when I discovered the world of online courses and scholarships. It was really life changing for me. The community. This is what stuck with me. This was the part that affected me the most. So the community, the collaboration, the all the people from all around the world just have a passion to do to code and to give back to community. And so yeah, I found myself there, and I just didn't want this to be over. And as an example of how one door actually opens another door and another door, in my last scholarship, which was a deep learning scholarship, I met this one of the amazing people there was I don't know if I'm sure some of you ladies know her. Her name is Anju Marcian. So she did a session and she introduced us to Omdena. Um, Actually, and from the first minute I heard about it, I just knew that this is actually what I'm going to be after. Uh, so it's actually was everything I was looking for: a place to learn um, and build my resume, which was also one of my goals, and also something that I'm passionate about, which solve real world problems and use code, which is also one of the things that I'm passionate about. So yeah, it was like something. It was like, okay, this I got to apply for that as soon as I finished the scholarship, and this is exactly what I did. I applied for the malaria project, preventing the spreading of malaria in Africa, and I was lucky to get accepted. And just to give you guys a glance on what we did and the projects there. So that Malaria is actually a startup company that work on corporate technology to fight malaria and control malaria in Africa. As proven by history and by experience, that the best way to fight malaria is by targeting mosquitoes in their larva form. So before they fully grown and actually flying all around, and at this time it will be really impossible to stop it. So they actually treat those water bodies by using environmentally friendly materials. This is something I really was excited and happy to hear about. And what they do actually, so when I first heard about it, I thought that, okay, so it's easy, just look for water and treat it and spray it. Well, it turned out it's not that easy at all. So the process is really difficult, and we're talking about water bodies that can be in 50 centimeters in diameter. So yeah, it can be really difficult, and in rural and or urban areas, and vast land like Africa, and so and some of the water bodies are are actually seasonal. Some of them are artificial. So you have a lot of complicated uh, factors here. So, and with this issue came an opportunity to use machine learning and AI to solve this problem. So we see here, and usually how they work, sending workers to the field, searching for water bodies, and just register this water body and write the property, the size, the type, and everything, and then go back to the headquarters so they can send another group to treat these water bodies. And they have tracking system and everything to mark these water bodies. The issue was actually they most of the water bodies are not detected because the workers just go blindly and search everywhere. We know that this is actually a really difficult task. And what we did actually here, you can see we built a solution that given a region, the model can predict the areas that have higher probability of for existing of water bodies. This will give the workers some kind of a basic knowledge, or just a lead to where they have to search instead of just go and look everywhere. So yeah, the results were actually really satisfying, and we had a model with the higher recall. So yeah, we tried to include one of the things that we aim for, that we and even Zap mentioned that they didn't want to that it's okay if the worker go and find that there is no water, but they didn't want to miss any water bodies. So this is what we went for, and this is what we achieved by the end. Um, yeah, it was really the result in the end was really amazing, and we were really happy and satisfied by that. But uh, having said that, it wasn't all smooth and easy. Just like Maria said, sometimes especially in the beginning, it was really uh, kind of chaotic, and we had to uh, in the beginning, yeah, we. So what I really want to emphasize here, like when you go into this project, um, the mentality that you have is it's very important that you believe that you have a piece of as a really an important how can I put this, um, a skill, a really a valuable skill that you can add to the team, and in the end you can help make this project, and have a piece of the puzzle, as I like to put it. So yeah, this is by in the end your contribution, no matter how small, because there's no, in fact there are no small contributions, but no matter how you see it small, will have a big impact, because this is we are talking about building a whole project in 2 months. So 2 months and self-organized. So yeah, everything counts. Research, um, documentation, resources, gathering resources. This all will save time. In addition, of course, to having technical expertise in coding and designing models, and data, dealing with data and processing it. So all aspects are important. So as an example of for uh, having the pieces of the puzzles, the last icebreaker meeting that was conducted by Lucy here, we played a really nice game where everyone uh, said what they are good at and what they need from the other collaborators. And in the end, we have this beautiful, really amazing uh, uh, gifts and hooks, as Lucy put it at the time. That so everyone has something to give that the other person needs, and vice versa. For example, some people said that they that good documentation and organization is their weakness, part of their weakness, and other people said that this is actually what they're good at, and others wanted more expertise from people in the who have experts in the field. Other offered this expertise, and they were willing to share. So this is exactly the what I'm talking about, and this is what uh, represents the community. Uh, and other key advices I can offer for the new collaborators is always try to remember why you join and why you are working on this project, because sometimes it's easy to lose motivation, or just you have a lot of things to do and responsibilities. But uh, for me, for example, in this project, I just the idea that I could help with my teammates to prevent the spreading of malaria, which is a really uh, a despicable disease that that aim mostly to it. It really the most people affected by it is children and pregnant women. So it's really something that this kept me motivated and just want to get all the everything every task that I have done as perfect as I can. So, and don't hesitate to ask questions. This is really important. Any question, no matter how small, will always open up a really good discussion and will help us get the solution really faster. Uh, One of the things that I really learned there is how to challenge myself. Uh, so I became the task manager with my first project, and it was my first experience as a task manager. It was really great, and I was uncomfortable in the beginning, but uh, just by the middle to the end, I felt like it was really rewarding uh, and fulfilling for me. Okay, so in the end, one of the key things is I think that we can conclude is communication. The communication is always a key because you don't know what other people are working on. You have always to communicate, stating what are you working on, what is the task that you want to take on and tackle. Uh, just keep communicating with others, and this will actually help a lot moving and um, just moving forward and producing the best results for everyone. Challenges and overcomes. Uh, so as a non English, so my English is I am an okay. My English is not my native language, so in the beginning, I was hearing all these different dialects of English. So I was really, this is one of the challenges that I had. Uh, and in addition to that, I guess I was also not well educated on some of technical aspects. But this is also one of the great things that by then, after this first 2 weeks, everything started to make a lot of sense. I was understanding everyone better. I was more confident in in my tech, dictionary, and I was understanding people more and communicating much better. I guess this is also one of the things that could help me later on, just not just in Omdena project. So this was actually great. Uh, yeah, and staying motivated. Yeah, this is also sometimes one of the challenges because I am as a mother, and I also work from home, and sometimes I just the timing for the meetings, just like Maria mentioned, there were a lot of meetings, and I was some of them I I I joined while, for example, I was making dinner sometimes, but I was 100% there, and I did it because I really wanted to be involved in everything. And I'm really and if you want to know more about the project, technical aspects and other expertise, I have some links. If it's okay, by Marta, I can share it on the chat with you guys.
Of course, I just shared your article that you published on Medium.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I have also this case study that was written by my collaborators, and so if you want to know more of technical aspect on the project and things like that,
Yeah,
um,
that would be great.
awesome. So yeah, in the end, I really wish the all women collaborators the best of luck, and I hope that their journey would be as fulfilling and as amazing as I had. And you have our full support, me included. We and I hope you come one of the members of Omdena family. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Rasha.
Sure.
Yeah, like I was I was greatly like impressed with the article that where you mentioned the whole case of malaria. Yeah, a disease that it's been around for a lot of years. Just brief note, side note, I watched this past weekend this amazing documentary on Netflix, Secrets of the Saqqara Tomb, where they find the first case of malaria ever.
Wow.
Well, I'm not gonna spoil too much details, but so you can watch it on Netflix. Wonderful, amazing. So just to wrap it up, now we're gonna leave some room for people to ask questions. So we you can either write them on the side chat, or if you want to take over the mic, you can unmute yourselves and take over the stage. I'm gonna stop the recording here just to if there's any shy people. Okay. Wonderful, and thank you very much.